Okay, so Si's on holiday this week, and that's my day off. So we actually got a midweek game. I think it's Wednesday. No, it's Tuesday, Thursday now. It's one of those. Right, so we've decided to have a game of 40k, just to just to try and learn the new rules and that. Like I said before, we've played in the past, so and a mate of ours just got back into it, so we thought we'd just try and brush up a bit on the rules for when he comes around. So this is the board. We're playing I think it's called Hammer and Anvil Deployment, which is just Battle for the Pass. It's a mission called the Relic. So we've got the Relic in the middle there, and the objective is to take it or to have it at the end. So we're playing proxied armies because well, we're a bit disillusioned with our older armies, and we just fancied a change. So if we're going to play a little bit of 40k every now and again, we just thought we'd play with slightly different armies. So Si's giving Dark Angels a go, and as you probably haven't seen in some time, it's quite a heavily proxied army this, which we haven't done for quite a while. So he's using a lot of his Blood Angel stuff and some of his older Marines there. So I let him run you through his. And I picked up a grey, well, haven't picked it up, I've decided to do a Grey Knight army. I'm trying to build a Grey Knight army that isn't cheesy. So there's no Drago, there's no Castle and Crow, there's no Purifiers, there's no like henchmen and stuff. But, you know, it may still end up being cheesy, who knows. But I really like the Grey Knight model, so I'm not going to not play this army just because they have a bit of a bad rep. I don't think they're quite as powerful in this edition, but that's another story. Okay, so basically what I've got is a Brother Captain, then a Brotherhood Champion. Don't really see people use those, so I'll give it a go. Then I've got two 10-man squads of Terminators, which have been combat squadded, just to save points with like the Cybolt ammo. But this one's led by proxy Justicar Thorn in the shape of Logan Grimnar. And it's got a Psy Cannon and a guy with a Demon Hammer. This is a standard squad. Yeah, this is the other half of that squad, so there's no Justicar. But it's got Demon Hammer and a Psy Cannon. And this is the same, but it's the other combat squad for this one. And then this one has just got the Justicar, Demon Hammer and Psy Cannon. So, and then we've got Cybolt ammo as well, even these two. And then we've got a Dread Knight with a heavy Psy Cannon and a great weapon. So that's it. That's all I got. So we'll hand over to Si and see what he's got in his army.
Okay, well, since Ollie has chosen to deploy in reserve, basically since he won the role, he just decided which side I was going to deploy on. So basically, I knocked this together. It's pretty quick, but it seemed to contain all the cool elements of a Dark Angel's army. HQ wise, I went for an Interrogator Chaplain. He's over there. He's actually the chaplain I've been working on for about a year and a half, or nearly 2 years actually this February, trying to paint him up. So he might eventually get finished, although I just need to change his allegiance slightly to Dark Angel's colours, which will just involve painting one shoulder pad, and then he's a Dark Angel. But basically, he is my first HQ choice. My second HQ choice is a Librarian in Terminator armour, guy here. Then two tactical squads, which I've got in the centre. They're just your basic 10-man squad. Heavy Plas in both. And then the sergeants, both armed with power fists. Unfortunately, they've both got combi weapons here, but obviously the current edition of the Dark Angel book doesn't allow you to do that, so we'll just have to ignore that. It's more for I've done that more because I reckon that when the new book comes out, which is most likely going to be pretty soon, they will have the option to have combi Plas. So then my elite slots, well, of course, we've been championing Terminators recently, so obviously I took some as well. So I've got basically 2 units of Deathwing Terminators. Rather nice thing about the Deathwing Terminators as it stands is that you can have the sergeant with the Thunderhammer and Storm Shield, and then keep the other 4 guys just armed with Power Fist and Storm Bolters, which means that I can have a guy that can take a ridiculous amount of punishment, in theory, as long as I can pass up that 3-up ward save, and still keep him going against sort of normal chaffy fire by sending all of his sending unsaved wounds onto the other guys that are obviously non-AP too. So I quite like that idea. So that seemed sensible. So I took 2 of them because I've done away with the need for a Land Raider, hopefully. So that was my troops, HQ and Elite. And then I thought, well, fast attack. I stayed away from the Ravenwing stuff currently. I haven't got the book at the moment, just using Army Builder just to tit about with, so I thought I'll stay away from Ravenwing stuff until I know more what it does. I presume they're just sort of buried up versions of like bikes and stuff, but yeah, I'll go into the rules a bit later on. They look pretty cool, and obviously Dark Vengeance have got some really nice stuff in. I intend to pick that up at some point, so yeah, I might try and work some bikes into the list, depending on what happens. But I've stayed away from fast attack this time, so I've gone to heavy support. So I've gone with the classic Devastator squad with 4 missile launchers. I nearly choked on my orange squash last night when I knocked the list up, as I realised that the missile launcher is twice as much as everyone else's missile launchers in modern codexes, which is pretty harsh. So yeah, I had a little bit of a cry about that because it's a ridiculous number of points for what is essentially what I was paying not very much for before. So yeah, and then to finally round my army off, I just have a pred, and at the moment it's in the triple las. Although here it's like a autocannon, and it was basically a Dakar pred here, but it's proxied as a triple las guy. So that's the army. I tried to seize initiative and didn't do it. So yeah, it will be end of Grey Knights turn 1, and the objective here. Come up with a little bit of a background story, and basically this ancient relic is something to do with the Fallen, and the Dark Angels are trying to hide their secret. And the Grey Knights, ever watchful, have heard some interesting shenanigans going down with possible traitor Marines of the original legions, and they're all up for finding out what's going on. So it's a race to see who can get this, and whether the Dark Angels hold on to their secrets, or whether they're exposed to the full might of the Grey Knights and Inquisitional forces. So we will see you at the end of Grey Knights turn 1. Okay, well basically because all the Grey Knights were arriving in reserve, their first turn was remarkably short, so we just skipped straight to the Dark Angels turn 1. Basically everyone moved up and just ran towards the objective, scarper forward, moved through cover, providing a little bit of use, actually a warlord trait that was somewhat useful. So yeah, it was pretty good. So I'm now within just a few inches of the main objective at the end of turn 1. So now comes the bad times. So it's now Grey Knights turn 2.
Okay, it's the end of Grey Knights turn 2. Deep strikes in the one of the combat squads of the Justicar here. The deep struck in Thorn's unit, and then my brother captain's unit also came in, but unfortunately scattered off the board, or partially off the board, and so Sai got to place it and stuck him all the way over there. So he's probably not going to be playing much of a part in this game. So yeah, like Sai said, it's probably new model syndrome, even though all these are proxies pretty much. But to be fair, the brother captain is actually the proper model, so that's why he's over there, because he's definitely new model syndrome. Okay, so they obviously just run, and the shooting phase, these guys fired at the Devastators, managed to kill 2 of them. And then this squad fired at his tack squad and killed 2 of those. His sergeant passed, I think it was 5 armour saves in a row, so he's still alive. So that paint job's definitely working out for him. And that's the end of Grey Knight's turn 2.
Okay, end of Dark Angels turn 2. The central tactical squad moved up to claim the objective. So they now have it'll be this guy here who is holding it. Everyone else, upon seeing the Terminators, has moved back around. So these guys double back. The tank moved around. These guys double backed, as did they. Shooting. Basically, the tank opened up first. Killed 2 guys with their las cannon. Then these guys opened up and managed to kill another one with bolt rounds, but they passed their break test and remained there. Then the remaining 2 missile launchers shot at the Terminators that were over there, but failed to do anything. And then a combination of fire from the tactical squad and the other Deathwing squad managed to wipe out the Terminators that were over there. So it's looking pretty strong. Ollie unfortunately he got pretty unlucky. He didn't make very many invulnerable saves at all, and he rolled a ridiculous number of 1s as well. Because by rights he should have had a couple of Terminators still kicking about. But yeah, that was a good strong turn for the Dark Angels, and it's now turn 3 for Grey Knights.
Okay, it's the end of Grey Knight's turn 3. Justical Thorn and the Psy Cannon moved up here. The brother captain, we forgot to run actually, so I need to do that. But he cast Communion to give them +1 to the reserve rolls. Thus the Dread Knight and the other squad came in with the Brotherhood Champion. They came down there. Luckily didn't this one I think hit. Rolled double 6 and they rolled a double 6 but still rolled a hit. That was good. And he just scattered 2, so those 2 came in. So I'll just roll the 1 for those. I've got 3 again, so they're probably not going to take any part in this battle. Then in the shooting phase, Thorn's actually a level 2 Psyker, which is one of the reasons I took him. So he actually casts Precognition on himself. He casts Prescience on the unit, and then his mate casts Hammer Hands because he's obviously. I don't think he can actually. I think he can because the unit can cast as well because he's like an independent but attached character. So, but anyway, so they cast 3 psychic powers between them and tooled up to the 9s. So I got up there, fired my assault weapons before steaming, but I actually killed them all before I even got to charge. So anyway, so he was ready for it, but yeah, but he killed them, so that's fine. But he's kind of like pissing in the wind now, so that's not so good. The Dread Knight shot at the tank squad here. Got 3 wounds with his side cannon blast thing, but side passed all these saving throws. And then these guys opened up with their side bolt ammo and side cannon, and actually killed I think it was 4 of them, maybe even 5.
Yeah, you got 4.
Yeah. So and then they failed their morale test and a leg in it, so they dropped the relic because the guy on the relic got slotted. So that was nice. So that's swinging a little bit in my direction now. I'd be really happy if these guys could take part in the game. But yeah, so that's the end of Grey Knight's turn 3.
Okay, end of Blood Angels Dark Angels. I do apologise. Turn 3. These guys reformed due to a National Nano Fear. They didn't move. The other tactical squads moved up to advance upon the objective, get ready to try and claim that. The Terminators over here with the Warlord just run through to try and claim the objective. My Terminators are over here, moved around to prepare for an assault. Then the Predator moved around to prepare to shoot at the remaining 2 Terminators. Then in the shooting phase, I managed to knock a wound off of the what's it called? Dreadnought with the with shooting from the Terminators. This tactical squad then managed to kill 4 of the Grey Knights over here, but they still held firm. And I managed to slot Justicar Thorn with the las cannon shot from here. Then in the assault phase, having cast prescience on the unit in the movement phase, I charged in. Ollie got ridiculously unlucky with his attacks, managed to only do 1 wound, which I saved on with the the storm shield on the sergeant, and then I managed to do him 12 wounds in return with power fists.
No, only 6 because I passed 6 invulnerables.
We passed 6 invulnerables, which was
enough to kill him twice over.
A mighty impressive feat, but yeah, unfortunately ganked him. And then they just they advanced forward in their consolidation move. So yeah, a pretty good turn for the Dark Angels, and it's now Grey Knight's turn 4.
Okay, it's the end of Grey Knight's turn 4. These guys just moved back, these guys moved forward, and Thorn came back to life and jumped down off the building, ready to assault the Predator. Then I did some shooting, fired everything at the Terminators, did nothing. Then Thorn and his mate shot at the Predator, knocked a hull point off and stopped it from shooting that time. But then I assaulted it and killed it with 3 penetrating hits. Fortunately it blew up, but luckily didn't kill anyone. So that was it. I cast a selection of psychic powers, including, rather stupidly, I cast hammer hands on these guys because I thought I might as well. But I rolled a double 6 and actually killed one of them. Yeah, so not content with destroying my army, I thought I'd give it a go myself. So that's it. So it's the end of Grey Knight's turn 4, and it's looking pretty bad. So Si's turn next.
Okay, end of Dark Angel's turn 4. Everyone just moved up around. I moved to claim that objective. The Terminators moved up in order to assault. These guys just ran forward to give the objective some backup. Basically, this squad shot the heavy plasma at Thorn.
So on for the team again.
Yeah, took him down again, although he did make one of his saves. So the other guy lives. And then basically everyone else just shot at the squad as well, but failed to do anything. Unfortunately, I then attempted a charge, only needed a 6, naturally rolled a 5. So yeah, unfortunately didn't, and Ollie managed to get 2 snapfire wounds as well with 2 guys. And yeah, unfortunately, well, fortunately for me, I saved them all, but yeah, unfortunately they're left pissing in the wind now. So yeah, it's on to Grey Knight's turn 5, and yeah, we'll see what happens next.
Okay, so it's my turn 5, and I thought I'd give it a go, try and go for the objective. You know, maybe we'll go to 7 turns, maybe he'll fail all his arm saves, and maybe I'll win. Thorn didn't come back, so his mate just he abandoned him. Even though Thorn's like taken 2 rounds in the head for him. He's like, screw you. So he ran off. These guys just moved a bit forward. I thought, you know, try and make something happen. Then in the shooting phase, I fired all this. Got a fair number of hits, probably about average, probably a bit below average, but quite a few, including 2 Wrens, and so I passed every single saving throw. Then I attempted to charge him. This unit rolled a 3, which he would have actually got his snapfire against, so he might as well roll that. And then this unit attempted to charge and rolled a 5 and failed as well. So yeah, so I think we're just going to line up a new go because it's definitely over for the Grey Knights. Size 1 by a mile, so he's going to do stat fire first, I think. Might as well clap all my guys before they get a go. Oh.
It's a wound.
Oh no! What's this? Better 1.
Oh,
plus 1! There's no hope. Okay, so the Dark Angels retain their ancestry and capture the probably like a strong box full of dirty photos of Lionel Johnson, I suspect.
doing something quite hideous with the fingernail Slanesh. Maybe even Slanesh cry.
So, yeah, so Dark Angels win by a huge margin. So, well done, Si. There is no conceding now, so he doesn't table me. He's looking pretty lightly. Yeah, so hopefully we can have another game if you fancy it.
Yeah, I think
okay.
The day is still early, so
okay.
I'll be up for another.
And the rate I lose, yeah, so I've learned a little bit about Grey Knights now, which is don't roll ones and you should be alright. And if your opponent doesn't roll ones either, then you can lose. Yeah, so that was a harsh battle, but I wanted to master Grey Knights without taking Drago, and that's what I'm going to do. So I shall line them up again. I might change the list a little bit. I don't know. Probably try this one again, see how it plays. Okay, so we'll see you in a minute with a new game.